Folks, so I was just talking about how habits, skills, and behaviors span across different areas of life, and how, for example, if you are someone who likes to clean and keep a place clean and tidy, and organized, you'll ensure that your house is clean, and you'll also probably ensure that your workplace is also clean, right? And even your work is clean. For example, say your house, your rooms, your desk space in your house and whatnot, and then your office, your desk space, your team's table and whatnot, and your work. Let's say there are a lot of documents and it's all messed up, it's not organized, it's unorganized, disorganized, or whatever it is. If it's not organized, you will ensure that it's organized, because you have a habit of organizing things and keeping things clean and simple and whatnot, and you have the skill, and that's your behavior, and you have actually cultivated that behavior and habit, and you have cultivated that skill also. So well, you will do it, right? So it's a great skill to have, right? So you can probably think about the same when it comes to, say, things like reading. It's okay to read whatever and whenever and anything, right? So, for example, let's say I am someone who likes to read non-fiction, and then who considers that fiction is, however, beyond my reach, because it's complicated and all that. And also, I'm like, what? It's not productive. But then the reality is, if I read anything, right, be it fiction in terms of books, or be it reading, say, blogs and articles online, be it fan fiction or be it non-fiction stuff, or be it reading news online, or on a newspaper, right, or be it reading magazines. If I cultivate a habit of reading, and if I have a skill to read, and it's my behavior to read stuff, right, whenever there is something to read, then I will be able to read whenever, wherever, whatever, right? So I'll be able to read, say, some fiction book or whatever, if I'm given a book in my house, and I'll be able to read some documentation or some work related document in my workplace. And let's say I'm told to actually do some work related to something, and to read some big document or a big book or whatever, then I'll be able to read it, because I have the habit of reading, I have the skill of reading, and it's my behavior to read because I've done a lot of reading, right? So I would say it's important to cultivate habits, and cultivate skills and behavior that you can probably use across your areas of life, like work, house, and whatnot. And this can include something like problem solving, cleaning up and organizing things, making things simple and comprehensible, right, or comprehensible, and what do you say, reading things and absorbing knowledge and learning things, right, absorbing information, right, and putting your knowledge to use. Other examples can include, for example, let's say, workplace is basically you just do stuff, right? You create stuff. You also probably consume stuff. You don't just create stuff or produce stuff, but you also consume and use up some stuff, right? So let's say if you are in the habit of consuming things, let's say reading or listening or watching some video and whatnot, you'll probably have that habit, you'll probably have that skill, you'll probably have that behavior of like watching things, reading things, and listening to things. For example, say you watch a lot of YouTube, you watch a lot of YouTube shorts and YouTube videos, Instagram reels, Instagram videos, what else? Netflix videos, Netflix shorts and whatnot, and then any OTT, over the top platforms, whatever, you watch a lot of videos, you listen to audiobooks or whatever, right? Then your listening skills, your watching and absorbing information skills are great. Your consuming skills are great. You're probably a good reader, great reader, a voracious reader, right? A lot of people have these consuming skills, right? Very usually they do have it, at least listening or like watching something usually, right? Reading, it depends, but these days a lot of people are cultivating the habit of reading and the skill and behavior of reading. But when it comes to producing stuff, it really depends, right? Not a lot of people produce stuff or create stuff, right? They consume stuff. Consumerism is popular. They read, listen, watch, and whatnot. But then, do they create stuff? Right? It can be writing. It can be talking. It can be actually creating a video or an audio, like the talking, right? Or you can create art and craft, right? You can create anything, right? It's just a matter of what you want to create. If you're interested, you can just go ahead and create it. If you have the habit of creating, right, and if you cultivate the skill of creating and behavior of creating, let's say you create content, say online on YouTube, say videos, like I'm making YouTube videos now. I can just randomly make any videos, right, and this will cultivate a habit, a skill, and behavior of creating YouTube videos. Now I can actually use this habit, skill, and behavior to actually create, say, not just life related YouTube videos, but I can also create work related YouTube videos, right? Tech, like I work in tech, in software industry, I can probably create work related YouTube videos, and that can probably help my work, right? For me individually, and for my workplace, my team, my company, and all that, right? I think creating is also a great habit, skill, and behavior to have. So create whatever you want. It can be art, craft, whatever, right? It can be cooking. Just create food, like make food, cook food, right? It can be creating, say, YouTube videos. You can create podcasts or whatever. You don't even have to put it out there. You can just create it and keep it to yourself. Create a video, keep it to yourself. Create an audio, keep it to yourself. Sing a song, talk about something, or write about something. You don't have to share it with anyone. You can just write it and keep it in your phone, right? You can do anything of that sort, but creating is actually a great skill. Once you start creating, right, you'll actually be able to create in other areas of life also, right? For example, you will be able to cook stuff, maybe you will be able to get the confidence that you can actually, or you'll be able to get that idea that you are a creator, right? You create things. You don't just consume. You don't just, say, order food and eat food. You can also create food. You don't just buy art. You also create art. You don't just see YouTube videos. You also create YouTube videos. You don't just listen to audiobooks or songs. You also sing songs, your own songs, or some existing song, and you're just singing it back, but you're singing it yourself, right? And you don't just read articles, you also write articles, though you may not publish it and whatnot. It's fine, right? It's okay to not publish and put your content out there. And it's not even at workplace, right? You don't just consume other people's work, you also create work. And you, for example, you produce work, you produce something that's actually useful, right? And you will learn how to make it useful, of course. At least you will get into the habit of producing stuff, creating stuff, right? And not just consuming stuff. For example, I'm in the software industry. I am very used to actually consuming software, using software, right? But how much do I create? Well, it's important to start creating instead of thinking, what's the point in creating something that already exists? I want to create something new only. No, well, start creating something that exists. It's fine. At some point, you will start creating something new. And if you think you want to create only useful stuff, well, I would say start creating anything and everything, even the not useful stuff, unuseful stuff, or whatever it is, right? Whatever the thing you want to create, just create it, because it doesn't matter if it's useful or not. It's fine. Don't let it hinder you, bother you. Don't let it stop you from creating stuff. I would say just create stuff. At some point, you will end up creating something that is useful. I recently saw a TED talk by this lady who actually spoke about how she has a YouTube channel where she makes videos of her machines. She thinks that she makes machines, according to her at least, she thinks that she makes machines that are not useful, that just do random stuff, right? According to me, the machines looked great and awesome, and it looked pretty fancy also. It may not be something that will probably change the lives of many people, or it may not look like something that is very useful, that will change this whole decade or century or whatever, right? But then it is still something. It's actually robotics, and it's actually cool stuff that she has created, and she has put a lot of thought into it and created some stuff, right? According to her, they are not useful, and many would agree. I might not exactly agree, but the thing is this, right? She talks about how she just creates stuff, and she doesn't want to actually feel that you know like she has to create something that is useful. She doesn't want to feel the fear of failure and whatnot, right? She wants to just create stuff even if it's a failure and even if it's not useful and whatnot. People usually define failure as creating something or making something that is not useful or that doesn't work and whatnot, right? She creates stuff that works, by the way, and it's just that she feels, or people just feel, generally feel, that it's not like really useful, or that something that can be put to wide use or many people will use it and whatnot. It's not the case, or that's what she feels. But they're funny, interesting machines, and she talks about how she just started creating stuff regardless of if it is useful or not, because she just felt that she needs to create stuff and she needs to ensure that she doesn't feel the fear of failure, and she didn't want the fear of failure to stop her. She doesn't want failure or the fear of failure to stop her, so she wants to be able to keep creating no matter what, and no matter what, and no matter what she creates, right? She just wants to create stuff for now. So she was talking about how she may never create something useful. She was talking about this in her TED talk, and I don't think so. I think she, at some point, she'll create something useful, and she'll surely inspire a lot of people. And I think I'm also creating content online on YouTube, just like that. I really don't expect to create a lot of subscribers or have a lot of subscribers. I don't really expect or look for likes, comments, shares and whatnot. Like, my nephew recently was asking me, uncle, you have got 0 likes, is it? And I'm like, yeah, man. So but I have the habit of creating, so that's something that I've cultivated and created, and I've had the opportunity to create the behavior of creating, and to create the habit and cultivate the skill and cultivate the habit and cultivate the behavior of doing this, right? Continuously, consistently, as much as possible, whenever I can, right? Of course, in the course, I've actually sacrificed, or more like traded off multiple things, good things. For example, I used to walk a lot, or I used to go to the gym and whatnot. Well, I'm not doing too much of those nowadays, but I'll start doing more of those also. But I'm glad, it's great that I have a YouTube video with more and more videos now, because I create more content around. So I've cultivated the habit of creating content, say videos. I also sometimes write stuff. Actually, even for my videos, I first of all write some idea of like whatever is the video that I want to create, because whenever I have ideas, I can't immediately start creating the video, because either I don't have the time or I have something else to do, and hence I don't have the time. So I just have to just write it down, unfortunately, though I'm so enthusiastic to actually create the content then and there. But yeah, I just have to be patient and just write it down, and sometimes it never gets made funny. But I have so many things in my notes actually for creating content. I basically can and will create content for anything and everything, right? And anyone and everyone, and I will create content anywhere and everywhere. So as long as I'm allowed to do so, of course, or I'll just probably say sorry. So it's the idea of like, oh, don't ask permission, just say sorry. I'll just apologize. So yeah, if you just start creating more and more stuff, it's just great for you. Habits span across areas of life, and yeah, I mean, if I'm creating YouTube videos for life related stuff, I could easily start creating content and YouTube videos for, say, my tech and my work related stuff and whatnot, and it will be useful. And creating will also seep across and leak across other areas of my life. Let's say I can actually cook food. I can think of myself as a creator in terms of like creating craft, art, and I can actually say, I don't know, cook food and say cut vegetables, cut fruits, and eat them and whatnot. So creating is also a great skill and habit, and there are so many great skills and habits out there. I would say creating and reading and cleaning up and tidying stuff and then problem solving are actually great habits, skills, and behaviors to have that can easily span across all your areas of life. And there are more such skills that are transferable, skills, habits, and behaviors that are transferable and that can span and can be spun across different areas of life, of one's life, their relationships, their life, and their work and whatnot, right? So yeah, I mean, it's important to understand this idea, and so I believe that if you're someone who is clean and tries to be clean, you would probably ensure that your washroom, your toilet, your house, your bedroom, your workspace in your house, your work table, everywhere you'll actually try to ensure that you're clean, right? So that's a great thing actually, because now you're someone who is just clean. It's about keeping things clean. It doesn't matter where, what, how, when, and all that, right? So it just matters that something is clean or you learn something and things like that, right? So now it's not like you will clean things only in your house. You will also clean things anywhere. Like, just if you can, just because you can, you will just do it. That's all, right? So that's a great skill and that's a great habit and that's a great behavior to have, according to me. And same is true for things like letting go and whatnot. For example, my therapist used to say that do you actually keep a lot of things in your house? And I'm like, yeah, I don't throw off things. I don't let go of things, basically. That's the idea, right? So I think he was coming from a place where do I let go of my past and things like that, right? And similar to that, do I let go of things that I hold on to and all that, right? So the idea of letting go is also something that you can actually think about as a habit, as a skill, and as something that you can cultivate as a habit and skill and as a behavior, right? There's apparently a book about letting go. It's called Untethered Soul, I think. So I was recommended by my therapist to actually see this. He's actually a psychiatrist, by the way. So pretty genius guy, very knowledgeable and very wise guy. So I've got a lot of wisdom from him. And so yeah, I mean, I would say having a habit, a skill, a behavior is great, and it can probably span across multiple areas of your life, and and your personal life, your work life and whatnot, and your relationships and all that, and your friendships, romantic relationships and whatnot. And yeah, I mean, and I already mentioned some of those, some ideas or some examples for those, like reading, creating, consuming, creating, or producing, and what else? Cleaning and letting go of stuff or things or whatever, right? Letting go, basically. So yeah, I mean, these are some things that I can think of. There'll be more probably, and especially a lot more that are actually transferable, and skills and habits and behaviors that can be transferred across areas of life. So transferable and that can span across different areas of your life, and coexist across different areas of your life. So yeah, that's all I had for this video, talking about how habits, skills, behaviors can span across your different areas of your life. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.